Okay, yeah, we were talking about the effort, right? So the amount of effort spent by the supervisor or the person responsible in collecting the data to identify the deviation, right? Like, first of all, in this COVID situation, to identify there is a deviation, it's going to take a lot of time, right? And then the accuracy. Okay, I know that there is a deviation, but what is the deviation? I collected the data with, like, I talked to 10 of my agents and 20 of my agents and then collected the data. Is this all accurate? I need to validate that as well, right? At this time, I have spent enough time. There is another priority issue on my hand. So I'm being a human. I'm going to concentrate on only one thing at a time, right? It's the same thing, right? The ham's getting like the ham is getting bigger. So I'm going to ignore this problem because the issue is resolved at this point. The deviation has been handled, or somehow we are 8 hours across the deviation. The issue has been resolved. So I'm going to go to the next priority. I'm going to forget that this happened. But what's going to happen? There's going to be this is going to repeat again. This is going to repeat again. I'm going to miss this. I'm going to miss the cause, which is sitting right in front of my eyes. But again, there is a lot of effort going on in here, right? So here is where we brainstorm. Like, what can we do? What are we missing, right? I don't know if you guys have seen the movie. I forgot the movie. In one of the movie, Tom Cruise says that, no, help me to help you, right? The supervisors, they have to be helped, or the person responsible, they have to be helped in order to them to help us back, right? In traditional way, what we're doing is, like, we're going to collect, like I explained in the previous slide, we're going to collect the data from agents. We're going to identify the issue. We're going to identify what is causing the call volume, what is causing the AST or increased deviation, right? And then based on that, we're going to take a workflow. Maybe it is a reforecasting, maybe altering the schedules, maybe changing the volumes or extending OTs, like that. But these all requires human decision making, right? Like, we got to take the decision. But the way that we are proposing is an innovative way, the automated way, right? Like Vineet said, intelligence is artificial now, right? All we got to do is, like, equip the intelligence so that it helps us better. Here, what we're planning to do is use a centralized AI to identify the issue. Even when we are viewing a wider spectrum, when the deviation is averaged out, the AI is known to pick up the anomaly. It's going to identify the anomaly and let us know, right? Even if there is no work required, it's going to say us, okay, there is something that needs to be done. Do you want to do, right? So, and if there is anything that needs to be done, automate the workflow. So let's take a scenario, right? Like, in a scenario, let's say a call center agent, he's sitting on a call, right? And the call is extended over his break. How many of time? I mean, he goes into an exception, which would be affecting his salary or something, and also reducing his break time, right? But what if we can propose a new solution, propose a new break time for him without any human intervention, right? The system thinks that, okay, he's on a call. I'm going to say, okay, he's on a break, but I'm going to talk to the scheduler and get back the details, right? But we'll see that in detail in the upcoming slides, right? Here is our solution. We are going to use a centralized AI that integrates with all the systems and perform data analysis, right? The data that we have, we are in an age of information. The data that we have is scattered all over the place. But what if we can have one solution or one centralized AI that can read all the data and relate to it, right? Which can relate. It's like it was in one of the movies, where how can you relate a news in the front page to the news in the fourth page, right? That kind of automation, that kind of analysis requires machine learning and artificial intelligence, right? And then automating the workflow. We need bots. We need bots who can perform repetitive tasks. A repetitive task for an agent or a human is gonna bore him. It's gonna reduce his satisfaction with this work that he's doing, right? But implementing bots that could perform the same task that a human does, but in a more effective way and minimizing the errors, right? So I'm gonna jump into the prototype. Hopefully I'm right on time. I still have 5 more minutes, I guess. This is the prototype that we have developed as a team. This middle bar, I'm not sure if you can see my mouse. This middle bar is the current situation, right? Like right now, customer calls in, he's having a problem. Customer calls in, it hits ACD, and the ACD sends a call to the phone agent, right? And the phone agent picks up the call and talks to him. Right now, that's what is happening. But what if we can do analysis at the bottom? If you see at the bottom pane, it's like we pick up the data from the calls, right? We pick up keywords, customer calling and saying that, okay, net banking is down, right? And the analytics engine understands that, okay, in the last 10 minutes, 40 people have called saying that there is a net banking issue. What should I do? Okay, that triggers that's one of the bot that is analyzing the keyword that says that, okay, there is something wrong with that net banking. It triggers a microservice, right? The microservice is again a proposed idea. It's a set of workflow which talks to various systems, right? And that bot talks to the microservice, gives it an input saying that, okay, there is a problem with this keyword. Okay, what do I do with this keyword? The microservice understands that, okay, I don't have anything to do with this. I need a human to understand what it is. So it sends an alert to the supervisor, right? Saying that, okay, the DPA is a desktop process analysis. What it does is like, it sends an alert to the agent's desktop and collects the feedback, right? It can talk two ways. And this microservice is going to trigger an alert to the supervisor saying that, here is a solution, right? Like, here is a issue. The keyword is net banking and it's been repeated so many times on a call. So he's going to so at this point, within minutes, right? Like within minutes or as soon as possible, he has the data, he has the cause of the issue in his hands. And all he has to do is to take the decision, right? He just goes back, sets an IVR or a conversational AI and sends it to the ACD. At that point, we have the ability to deflect the customers, right? Like we say the customer calls in and says that if you are calling in regarding the issue with the net banking, we are already working on it. If you want to subscribe for notification, if you want to talk to a chat agent, we can direct you to a chat agent, or if you want to talk to a phone agent, you can wait on call, right? And going back to the second scenario, right? The phone agent is on call, the call extends, and he's supposed to be on a break, right? At that point, the analytics engine, the second bot, what it says that, okay, there is an exception. The agent is supposed to be on a break, but he's on an exception. What is happening, right? It goes back and checks the agent's actual. The agent is on a phone, so he's actually working. He's not simply sitting and watching YouTube, right? So he's actually working. So at that point, I say that, okay, he's working, so I'm going to propose a new idea. It talks to the microservice, and microservice in turn talks to the scheduler, which runs a what if engine saying that, what if I move the agent's break to the next 15 minutes, right? 10:15 to 10:30 or 10:30 to 10:45, right? It gives them two options and sees picks up those intervals that are where the staffing is not affected, right? There is no staffing affected. Then it goes back to the DPA, and the DPA talks to the phone agent, right? And the phone agent says that, yeah, I opted for the 10:45 to 11 o'clock break. So schedule it, right? So once the agent sends a feedback, the microservice talks to the scheduler and publishes the schedule. How many times we had to go to a supervisor say that, hey, I have an exception because I had a call that overflow, but can you please approve the exception, right? The whole process would be eliminated. In turn, we are making the oven bigger, right? We are making the oven bigger by minimizing the manual work for the supervisor. The supervisor could really concentrate on work that is essential, right? Like the burning, all the back burners would be eliminated. Everything is center of attraction right now, right? Like all the issues could be handled, and the supervisor had more control over the call deviation and more control over what's happening at this moment, right? Obviously, I have to talk about the benefit, right? What is the benefit here? When I'm calling the contact center and I'm saying that, yeah, it is regarding a net banking issue, the call center is already working on it, and I'm like, so I'm satisfied. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'm happy that they're already acknowledging that they have an issue, but how do I know about it, right? Like I'm providing them an option with, okay, do you want to subscribe for a solution? When the solution is done, you get a notification, right? Something like that. So the customer is satisfied, the client is satisfied, and obviously the partner is satisfied. by implementing this, the partner also gets, the word of mouth, the increased business opportunities and everything. So the scenarios that I have discussed are very limited, but again, who knows? There are endless opportunities with this artificial intelligence and gathering the data and analyzing the data all together in a centralized environment. Yeah.
Bala, done with the team.
Yes, I've done the presentation as well. So questions, team.
Judges may ask any questions now. We can take 5-6 minutes to ask questions if we have anything.
Bala, hi, this is Vineet here.
Hi, Vineet.
So thanks for sharing. Just for my comprehension and understanding, can you describe the role that each of the team members played? You did name the team at the start. So
yes.
How did you go about setting up the collaboration and the solution identification?
We were actually brainstorming about it the whole day yesterday and day before yesterday as well. So Amit Shah, he's the one who came up with the problem statement. We had multiple problem statements. I came up with gamification. I don't remember what Shujal and Vinay came up with, but this was one of those ideas that it's a day-to-day problem that we have, right? Like we brainstormed everything. Everybody came up with one problem statement. But again, Amit's problem statement won, and we started brainstorming through the whole process. And Shujal contributed by he was like the gel for us, right? Like he grabbed us together. He was the one who was communicating with the management, who was communicating with Dr. Shiva and everybody. And Vinay was the one who structurized the presentation. And Lava was the one who was kind of an internal judge for us, like who questioned us in each and every point of slide where what to do and how we could better reach ourselves.
Sure, thanks.
Yeah, there were a couple of other ideas as well. Sorry, this is Lava. I'm the team member. So we had a couple of other ideas, but being a product, being on the product side where we are not consuming the product WFM itself, we are just providing the WFM product. It was little whatever ideas we come up with, we realize that the consumers, the call centers are already way ahead in using those methodologies. And we are just coming up with some old ways of tackling that issue. But again, we have that advantage of looking at the technology part of it as a technology provider.
Satya had already stated very categorically, right? It is not about who has solved 10 years ago or 2 years ago.
Exactly, right.
So that is not the context. I mean, where I was curious to understand was, how did you go about doing the solution identification? What was the extent of collaboration that came across? And what was the why of what you did?
So very early in the discussion, we realized that anything which has to do with the process in tackling that issue is not going to work, because we are little poor in that area. We don't have experience being a product provider. Obviously, the call centers, the contact centers has more experience in designing a process and optimizing a process to resolve an issue. But being a technology provider, we need to use our superpower. We need to use our strength to resolve that issue. Our strength is technology, and we are looking ahead with artificial intelligence. One of the ideas was even machine learning, to use machine learning. Right now, we are only sticking to artificial intelligence and microservices. But even if you go ahead or look ahead in another few years, we are looking at using machine learning as well. So one of the ideas was machine learning, but we are not able to incorporate it in this framework yet. But I'm very sure we'll be able to incorporate that in a very presentable way in future hackathons, probably. Yeah.
This is Jay. Let me ask a question related to adaptability and the practicality of the solution, right? Did you guys within your respective organization or the clients you support, did you kind of work through your stakeholders to see how practical or adaptable this is as a potential solution within your organization? And if so, how did that conversation go?
So we have internally presented to some of our leadership teams, especially the people who are more on implementation side, who work with our customers, looking at day-to-day issues and proposing the solutions to them, right? So that's one of our targets, to present to them and see, are we going in the right direction? Is there any work going on in these areas, right? We were happy to get feedback from them that it's all good. We are in the right direction. Now, the solution is in bits and pieces. Like, for example, if you see, there are bots over there which we presented in the solution along with analytics. Now, bots are being implemented separately in certain scenarios, and analytics is being implemented in certain scenarios, but not exactly together. We are very sure that we can integrate them, and along with that, we can use microservices. So that's our confidence that we will be able to easily integrate with the kind of advancements we're making in terms of development, testing, simulations, all these things. If the same question is being asked probably 10 years ago, we'll be not so confident because we are not sure if this technology can gel together or not. But at this juncture, we have so much of advanced simulations. Testing has improved a lot. So even the coding part, development part has improved a lot over the years, and we are very confident that we can integrate all these things together.
And one of the things that we analyzed was like the incoming case volumes. Like the incoming case volumes, we look at what kind of issues are most common. Like most of them are repetitive issues, like user management and approval of exceptions, the roles. And when we look into the customer side of it, they keep doing that as a part of their job, which could be definitely automated. And that was one of those triggering moments, right? Like, why can't we just use, because the bots are working independently right now. The scheduler is working independently right now. And now that we have APIs and everything, obviously they can understand each other. So that is where the microservice comes along. That's a proposed idea.
Sorry, one more thing in real time. So that especially that RTA who is managing the queue, he doesn't have much time to identify the issue, what exactly going on in business. So it consumes some time. So because if you implement this artificial intelligence, so definitely it is going to identify the issue within a minute. So then it is going to give the accurate data to us to identify why it is going on. We can take the appropriate action to mitigate the impact. So this is the best technology we identified.
Excellent, thanks. So thank you so much, guys. I appreciate the time that went into this. And there's a lot going on, obviously, and it's trying to solve a lot of problems at one time. I think if you ask all of us, real time is multi-layered, which is what you've shown here. But if you were to dissect this between the agent interaction, the cause of the calls coming in over forecast, and you're really pinpointing the technology, because the gap is obviously overlaying this technology on many, many clients to get the value. If I'm the client, to Jay's point, what would you say, what's the so what for me? Which is quickly we're asked, so what? So if I'm going to a client and trying to encourage them to allow us to have their data in this kind of technology, what's the so what from the customer point of view? And then next, what's the so what for your internal organization when we're looking at the cost? What's that full ROI story? What would you say is the biggest impact of rolling this out for the so what?
I would guess the biggest impact for a customer would be the amount of time spent, right? Like the amount of time spent by supervisors. We could better utilize supervisors for coaching and training than just approving exceptions or probably adjusting the schedules, right? Adjusting schedules follow same pattern. We can come up with scenarios, right? Case scenarios. How many times an agent has to approve an exception, or a supervisor has to approve an exception, or how many times a leave request has to go through, and then it's pending. I know we have automated leave approval processes, but there are still waitlisting, and then we still go through. It's still a manual decision. It's just a decision of probably making, can I still accommodate his leave? Yes or no, right? It's an yes or no question. Moving the supervisors from yes or no questions to more comprehensive problems so that they can handle the customers better. So that's the advantage for the customer, right? The advantage for the internally for us is to, I think it's a technology, right? Like it's a technology and the brand name. Right now we have everything scattered. Like I know that the scheduler and the phone recording part are probably are integrated right now, but the DPA is acting independently. The analytics is acting independently. If you put them together, it's a holistic view of the call center data. So I think for us, the biggest win is the customer. The customer's victory is our victory, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Is this based on any real, I know the example that you took of a bank, or to give an example, is this based on any real life experience from the team, within the team, or how did you come about with this idea?
Yes, I can chime in actually. So the other day when I called HDFC Bank for an issue, believe me, I had called 7 to 8 times just to get a clarification about how I should pay a bill, because I got my card renewed and I don't know which card number to use because bill was with the old card number. So just for a simple doubt, I called 7 to 8 times. Close to an hour or 1.5 hours of time was wasted over a period of 3 days. Now, what I was ignoring was when I called them and I was choosing the IVR options, there was an SMS coming to me saying, why don't you chat with Eva, who is a chatbot on WhatsApp? So basically, they are trying to deflect, but they did not identify the issue because they don't know yet. The HDFC doesn't know that I'm having an issue or I'm just having a query, right? So that is what I wanted to improve upon. The HDFC tried to deflect me to a chat support, and that to a chatbot. Now, if you look at in two different perspectives, if the bank has an in-house support, they might choose to have customer deflected to a chat bot, which is an automated process, and thereby you are actually saving some cost, running costs or whatever, right? Or if you are running an outsourced partner, you might want to implement a solution where you deflect the customer to a chat agent who can actually handle 2 or 3 customers at the same time in a chat scenario, right? Instead of me waiting on a phone for 10 minutes, getting frustrated, and because of the phone issues, I got disconnected 6-7 times. I was really frustrated. But if I was really deflected to a chat agent who was ready to assist me, I would have been much happier. I would have gotten my question answered already in probably 1 or 2 attempts max. So that was the initial idea, but my team members improved upon by adding the analytics part and making identifying the issue as well. Not just deflecting me to some other, mindlessly deflecting to a chat support, we improved upon by using the analytics and central AI.
Yeah, providing a generalized solution, right? Like it's
right.
And again, like all the microservices would be customized, right? Like customized for as per customer's need. A retail could be different. A banking sector could be different. So these all would be customized according to the customer. That's a proposal again.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks. Just a suggestion. I think it's better to avoid taking the names of any organization. It would have helped to just say that, yeah, it's with the bank or whatever it is.
Okay.
Thank you.
And also, like when the incoming cases that we handle, like my team handles cases, we go on a repetitive issues, right? Like customer calls in, we go on repetitive issue, and like, why can't we just do that, right? Like let's say that there is a mode that gets logged out. All we do is we run a query. Why can the system can realize that, oh, it's logged out, should I run it? That's it. Once we run the query, it fixes by itself. So those are the things that we could automate, right? Like it started as a small spark, but again, like when we started discussing various ideas, that's when we realized, okay, we have to put together a generalized solution, and a centralized AI is the answer, right? And it's the future as well.
Okay. Thanks, Bala. Thanks, Bala and Lava.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Baran Lava. Do we have any more questions from the judges? Yes, Melissa. Yeah.
I just have one more question, because I'm going back through your presentation, and which started as a real-time deviation challenge, right? Of the problem of figuring out what's going to happen next. Whereas this solution actually manipulates what's going to happen next, right, based on what's happening now. So if you went back to your original problem statement of how do we solve real-time deviation, what do you think is the big bang in this that actually solves the real-time? Is it real-time? Is it solving the real-time deviation, or is it adapting to the now? Because it won't tell you the real-time deviation because you're changing the future by modifying.
Right. So I would, it goes hand in hand, right? Like obviously identifying the issue and then resolving the issue goes hand in hand, and it has to be done simultaneously. But if we have manpower, yes. But this AI, by deflecting, like I said, yes, there is a manipulation happening, right? Like we are going to deflect the customer, saying that, okay, go to the chat agent. But at that point, the supervisor already knows that there is an issue with the topic, the net banking, or so the issue is identified. So it's not repetitive, right? Like it's not going to happen again. So that's going to be a noted keyword, and if it is repeated again, it's going to be captured. Did that answer your question, Melissa?
Yeah, and then solve it for the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Judges, do we have any more questions for the first team variant? Okay, no questions. So we'll allow some time to score your assessment, by the judges. And thanks, variant team. All the best.
Thanks, Shiva. Thanks for hosting us. And
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, team.
You can have the second team. Yes, Kapil.
Yeah, thank you, Shiva. We're ready.
Yeah.
Okay, so Capgemini team, how to you? Your time starts now.
Okay, thank you, Shiva.
All the best.
Hello, everyone. This is Team Capgemini. We are presenting our storyboard now. So first of all, we would like to thank WFM, GWFM for providing this opportunity to participate in this event. And we will be very honest. We are considering ourselves very lucky that we have got a chance to participate in this event. We'll start with our logo, as we explained yesterday as well. That the logo has a problem statement, and that it ends on solutions as well. So wherein we see a question, and we see a thinking smiley as well over there, that what is going to be what will happen since we have identified this problem. So now we see a progressive curve as well, arrow, wherein during innovations, what happens when we try to identify the solutions, different testing happens. So there'll be a stagnancy, or probably a dip in the performance as well. So that's what we are trying to project out here. And with this logo, in the end, what we see that it's always on a progressive mode. So that's the reason we have chosen the arrow over here. And in the end, we see everything checked in, and a smiling face. Now, let's start with the business case. All of us are aware that in WFM real-time world, we manage SLAs of the contact centers. In order to do that, we all use different real-time tools, to notify the service level performances to the stakeholders, to the business partners. And we also keep a track of, the email notifications, or whatever mode we use to notify the service level performance to them. The problem statement is that, we have to send different types of, alert to the different lines of businesses on different locations, through emails, through chats. And, this process is completely manual. It's a time consuming, prone to error, which, might result into, sometime into client escalations as well. And the approach was to come up with something which reduces all these manual interventions through an automated process. And the solution we came up, that we worked upon a tool which automatically notifies the businesses about their service level performances, and also automatically keeps a track of the information is being shared with them on a spreadsheet. And the benefits we are expecting post implementation, the all non value add steps will be reduced, and a few will be removed as well. And this will become an error-free process, and will result in increase in productivity as well. The potential savings post automation of this process, before implementation, the average time was 75 seconds, which reduced to 20 seconds, and then resulted into saving of 55 seconds in each notification sent to the stakeholders and business partners. So there is an annualized saving of 302 hours. And the reason we identified so many challenges initially. Everybody came with their different challenges, wherein service level challenges, staffing challenges, wherein the business is complete missing out on the service level due to staffing challenge. What else we can propose, wherein a business is already staffed? How can we at least uplift the service level by some margin? So we had problem statement like this as well. But later on, we finalized with a real-time statement, at least what we can do best at our end, what we can create. Can we create a tool for ourselves which saves time for us, which at least reduces manual errors, and will result into customer satisfaction as well. So that's how we end up deciding on this problem statement. So we have participant Manish, Himanshu, Amit, and myself. Everybody contributed with the problem statement, and then later on, we finalized with the problem statement which Amit identified. And because we always wanted to come up with something which we can showcase as well. Yeah, I know sometimes we have certain restrictions, and I know it's a 2-day time, but we wanted to pick a topic. We wanted to pick a topic wherein we can demonstrate the idea as well. So that's the reason we never thought of it, that okay, what exactly how our idea is going to look like. We were always thinking about the solution, and we were thinking about the demonstration as well. Can we showcase it to the people whom we are representing this? So that's the reason we end up picking up this topic. So, Shiva, as of now, you sharing this screen with me, I would request you to share this screen with, Himanshu Bhatt, because I would like to showcase you the live demonstration of this tool which has been created.
Sure, Kapil.
Yeah, Himanshu.
Kapil, Himanshu is in mute. Not able to hear anything from him.
Okay, let me know if I'm audible again.
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, thank you, Shiva. So what we see on this, Excel sheet, it's a template wherein we have, different lines of businesses, and we have, tried to include all the factors which impact a business service level performance. So, there are, few fields which needs to be, updated, basis the business performance. So Himanshu has already, selected the code for lines of business, known as VNC. So wherein now we see that there's a, the business is not meeting the service level because of there's an increase in 20% increase in AST, and also 20% increase in volume in the last interval as well. So all this information needs to be updated manually. A question might be coming up, probably all of us mind, that why we're still updating it manually. So the reason is that why? Because this mail, as per the client obligations we have, we send this email to different lines of businesses and at different locations. So that's a contractual agreement we had, that okay, we will be sending you different, that will not be having any site information on each other communication which we send to them. So Himanshu, if you click on send email, once you clicked on the send email, so what it did, we have 7 or 8 lines of businesses. So it has created email notifications for all those locations. Now I would request Himanshu to close it. So this information needs to be stored as well. So all these codes have different meanings. Like, this is a code red. We have code blue as well, code green as well. Now I would like to explain, what code red means. In code red, we have to cancel certain activities, certain off-phone activities. And in code blue, we have to cancel, the activities which is there in code red. Along with this, we request team managers and support staff to log in on the phone line, so that the call volume can be handled. The moment business starts performing well, we change it to code red or code green, and then and basis that why, and so there might be a question. I'm trying to explain it in a layman language, that why are we updating this spreadsheet? So we have this contractual agreement with the client. Like, if any activity needs to be canceled, suppose it's coaching, meeting, if business goes in code red, then very next day we will be coming up, we will look for the exceptions which are which were still conducted, or probably there in the employee schedules. We will remove all of them without taking anyone's approval. So that's the reason we have this, so that's the reason we are maintaining this spreadsheet. And this is really helping, this will be really helping. We really don't know exactly what would be the potential outcome, but we wanted to ensure, and also I would like to come on this feature might be available with the other ABC products we have available in the market. But looking at the so this tool might be useful for the small scale industries, wherein the cost is a factor to implement a tool. And I just wanted to thank my team member, because they all worked on this, and we wanted to come up with something to present. And our objective was to come up with a tool which which we can showcase as a testing as well, and on which we can give a demonstration session. So that's we all wanted to present. And thank you so much.
Kapil, are we done with the presentation?
Yes, I'm done with the presentation. Shiva.
Okay, thanks. We're able to complete it in 13 minutes. Great. Thank you. Now,
Okay.
judges may ask questions to
Exactly.
Capgemini.
Thank you, Kapil. This is Vineet here. What is the
Yes.
need for having the codes? I mean, the reason why I asked this question is you do call out that it is the next day that the exceptions would be looked and monitored into. Root causes, etc., would be undertaken. And there are set of business attributes that you have to define to put various segmentation from a coding standpoint. Obviously, all of it will get a log created. What will be the end game of the, let's say, SL log that gets created out of the series of forms and exercises that has been undertaken?
Yeah, the end game would be, like, when we update this information all on a log, the very next day, the very next day we remove all those certain activities which are there in the employee schedules. Suppose a code red means the meeting needs to be cancelled. Coaching, should be stopped. So between suppose if it's if a code is sent around 4 and the business was in code red situation till 6, so very next day we're going to come in, we will extract all those codes from the agent schedule between 4 to 6 and we'll remove them.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the main objective behind it.
Sure. Thanks, Kapil. If you were to do it differently, with an objective that you are changing the whole game itself. So the challenge that I throw to the team is, if you were to work on the same project differently by changing the game itself, which means there is no need for next day 24-hour validation, etc., to be coming across, right? And metaphorically, if you were to think of it this way, you get the empowerment at the workforce hand so that they are managing the exceptions. Is there a path that the team had thought about and debated?
Yes, exactly. We have an ongoing project as well, wherein in the process, wherein a business is really struggling. So I will come to that case study as well, because for that, we always had this thing in mind. Probably, we took it differently. That we wanted to come up with something, which we can probably, showcase as a solution within 24 to 48 hours as well. Now I'll come to the case study, which is currently happening in our businesses. We have a business wherein which is really short-staffed. The business is not willing to hire FTs. They have reduced their service level target by some margin, but still they're not meeting, because they are already, if they have a requirement of 100 FTs and they have 60s, even by reducing the service level target by some margin will not help. So what they did, they advised us basically, we did everything by cross-skilling the agents, by applying the priority of skill on those products wherein we receive maximum call volumes. But now what was decided in the end, because the agent occupancy is really high, it's around 99, 90, more than 97. So now the business has started thinking about their agent burnout. What they had, what they recommended, basically it was a global, I'll say a decision between the business, onshore partners and us, that okay, now let's close the business lines early, sometime in day, and then later on the night, wherein we can conduct some activities for them. So my idea, that's the reason I wanted to pick this up, and I wanted, I even one of my team members said, okay, let's go on with this. During this hackathon process, we will discuss this with our mentor as well, and if we are able to come up with something, I definitely agree what Satya said. We also are here not to win, but definitely we wanted to present that idea initially. Can we get something from this discussion, from this hackathon for our project. So that's the very thing, very first thing came in our mind. But later on, when we saw that closing line between in afternoon and then later on in the evening, definitely resulting into customer dissatisfaction. And if not today, business would bear the cost of it tomorrow. So that's the reason, as I said initially as well, we chose this topic. We chose this as a problem statement.
Sure. Okay,
Thanks.
sure. Thanks.
Thanks, Vineet.
Kapil, yeah, thanks for that. You mentioned that you can come into this hackathon to understand if you could take some ideas to improve your own business processes. That's really commendable. Okay, that's the right spirit to go with. Just a query, in the whole automation process, have you folks thought of any fallback mechanism just in case any of it fails? Because I know you had some manual intervention and all that stuff, and you're not trying to automate it. But what if it doesn't work out the way you anticipated it to, right? And it's like a code red situation or something like that. And is there any fallback mechanism that you guys have thought through?
Well, yes, the fallback mechanism, how can how can this happen? Probably if there is a version update. Because, and thank you, this gives me an idea as well, because at the day end, how many emails are sent, we will cross check it with the systems, logs as well. Okay, we will have a log over there. Okay, the value is matching or not. Yes, there'll be human intervention at the day end or probably the next day. Okay, how many emails were sent? How many codes were sent? Okay, is this equal? We'll see. And the variance, if we see a variance, then probably over there as well. With your question, Venkat, we got an idea as well. Okay, this is something which we can do as well. If the numbers are not matching with the email was sent previous evening and the codes we have in the spreadsheet, then it should throw in an alert as well. So exactly that's how we're going to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, but thank you so much.
Yeah, but that's 24 hours later. But I would suggest you think through of any fallback mechanism which is real time also. Okay, that will also help actually.
Yeah, exactly. In real time queue monitoring, I'll be honest. We have. I wanted to basically in demonstration, I wanted to show my applications which we're using, but due to ODC client restriction, we can't do that. So
no issue.
we tried we tried our best, what we can showcase. And definitely, in real time monitoring what happens, we have a team structure like this. If a person is doing real time, he'll only be doing real time, no other reporting activities that time. And still, even me myself, sometime when I pitch into production, I look at the look at the screen, code sent, and then in the Excel sheet as well. But definitely, this is something will be an areas of improvement. And probably, not after 24 hours, if some few alerts can be set up, probably on hourly basis or, for 30 minutes interval basis, we'll do that as well. So, yeah.
Thanks, Kapil. But the idea is very appreciable on how you can improve your own internal processes.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. All, in the end, I would like to say, we might have tools, probably, very robust, which can automatically, remove the codes, those exceptions, schedules, segments, whatever you call them, from the employee schedule as well. But looking at the cost factor and the industry scale as well, that's we wanted to come up with, and that's how we produce it.
Hey, Kapil, this is Jay. Same question as the earlier team, right? How practical and adaptable this solution is, right? Is this something that you have already in play, as in the team uses this as part of the day-to-day life? Or is this something that you have talked to your stakeholders about and would be something that you would deploy?
Well, it would be deployed. This will be like this will be like a value add for my clients now, because and this will be passed upon like a benefit to them as well. Because the way, yeah, please, Jay.
Yeah. So if it's something to be deployed, one feedback point that I would provide is to improve the practice or governance is increase proactive engagement, right? If you are saying that the short staffing is a known fact, if the volume is a known fact, right? So a lot of the off-phone activities, if you have your intraday over-unders, just go ahead and get them out ahead of time, right? So that way the engagement becomes more proactive that, hey, and I'm sure some of this you guys, or all of that you guys may be already doing, but if not, you might want to tweak that a little bit as part of the solution, right? Because you have proactive and then reactive engagement.
Yes, exactly. We before doing the real-time management, what we do, now I'm going to get back to my process. We highlight all these challenges in advance as well, like, through recommendations, okay, where the overtime is needed, where the shift movements are required, where the reforecasting is required basis the recent trends. So that's something we already doing, but you would understand, looking at the, situation, right now, wherein cost is a factor for everyone. I'll be honest about this, factor, but, cost is a factor for everyone. Out of 10 LOBs, which I'm managing at the moment, like 2 or 3, you will always find wherein they're not willing to, get to the staffing. So we already do these, the surface level challenges, mitigation plans. We already, send it in advance. Okay. Like the shift movements, overtime, just probably in advance as well. We ask for the support staff and, team managers to log in on a particular day during particular hours of intervals. And that's what we do.
Yeah, no, I think this is a good solution, and probably every outsourcer, even many times in a captive environment as well, is going to be a sticking point, right? How many alerts, how many reports, how many manual stuff that all the WFM teams have to do. So it's a good solution.
Yeah, so I would, just to kind of highlight some of that, Jay, I agree. Like looking at this as the solution itself to reduce the manual effort is great, right? The reality is we do have to send emails multiple times a day to multiple stakeholders, and we have frontline WFM real time hand typing it. It's just a recipe for disaster and risk that those are going to clients and important stakeholders. But I would back up a question and say, I frequently say emails are the death of communication. So though this solves the problem of reducing the manual intervention in emails, and though, talking to our stakeholders ahead of time so they know it's going to happen also, but even during the process of asking the question, what do you really want to see throughout the day, and how important this is to you, if they already know they're going into a negative situation? I know that's a difficult conversation. So I would like to press this further, going, this is a great solution for the now of what we're in, but how do we change the conversation with our stakeholders and clients of saying, what are you doing with the 24 emails I send you a day telling you that? Capturing the exceptions real time is what I like most about this project. Like that, I see the value of, don't you remember yesterday at 12 o'clock when we were on fire and went code red? But from the email perspective, did you guys really, was there anything that came up of saying, why are we sending these 20 emails? What is the value to the stakeholder? Can we change that? Do you think there's an opportunity there with this?
Melissa, all these questions, I'm really getting the idea as well, how this can be, before I present it to my onshore bosses and partners. And this is definitely, I'm getting an idea. Like Melissa, thank you so much. What I'm going to do.
Call centers would be 10 years ahead in that process, actually.
Sorry, I missed the question.
No, I think someone was just talking off mute. Go ahead.
Kapil, continue. Somebody was talking on mute.
Okay, thanks, Manish. Okay, Melissa, thank you so much for asking this question. And this, once again, giving me an idea as well.
Kapil, Satya here. I have a couple of quick questions for you before we wrap up the sessions. First, good presentation. Thanks for sharing it. One quick question: are you currently using any WFM system?
Yes, Satya.
I'm sure you would have looked at the option of customized automated reporting as well, for these alert systems.
Yes, exactly.
They kind of pretty much do what you're trying to build here. So you should probably look at that option as well. The other thing that I wanted to check with you is on your first slide, you did mention some non-value add activities that would you want to shed some light on that, on what were some of those non-value add activities and how did you reduce those? And before you answer that, I just want to make one more comment here, and this is probably going to be a more generic comment. Service levels, in our day-to-day life, we get so stuck up with service levels. To me, these are service level is just a means; it's not an end. The end eventually is still the customer satisfaction and customer experience, which is the right balance between your service level and your staffing model. Also, if you're looking at a staffing model where you are 40 short on 100, alerts will not help probably. I think there has to be something more creative around that. While this may be a problem right now, I think you should look at more holistically and a little more deeper into it. So that's what I would leave you with.
Well, before I answer your question, Satya, I'll go back to Melissa. Melissa, thank you so much for coming up with this question. So when I present this idea to the client, I'm going to we expect this. The team manager has a chat portal as well. In these emails, I'm going to add specific those distribution lists for chat as well. Now we expect team managers to, if not everybody is looking at the email, then look at the chats as well. The chat notification comes like this. Most of our partners have the leadership partners have this installed on their phones as well. The moment that the service level notification goes to them, they'll be getting it on their mobile as well and on their chat tool as well, which is there in the system. And thank you, Melissa, for this. This is something an improvement for me. Now, Satya, coming up, just to the first question, where we might have this feature available in the current tool which we're using at the moment, but unfortunately, I can't disclose the name of the tool which we're using, and we do not have this, built-in feature in our tool because my team from Capgemini, offers. We are working for a third-party vendor. My team from Capgemini offers, several value adds to our clients on daily basis. So, and this is something, and we are people who Google as well. We tried our best. Is this feature really available into this? Sorry to found out later on stage, I could not find that feature. That's the reason, it became a pain for us, every time. And we wanted to proceed with, we wanted to proceed with this automation. That's what we decided. There are other challenges as well, which needs to be sorted out, but we are working on them. I'm really sorry, I missed the second question you asked. Apart from the two,
it was on the non-value add work that you guys could eliminate. So I was looking at what was that non-value add work that you could find out, and you could shed some light on that.
Okay, non-value add would be like all these things which are not adding value to the work, all the manual efforts. So far, I'll be honest, so far the work which we were doing, that all was manual effort, and still human judge, looking at the screen and human judgmental still will be there, but sometime non-value add work needs to be we will always be there, and sometime it will get removed, eliminated, and sometime it will reduce as well. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions, Shiva?
Any questions from the judges?
I'm good, Shiva. Thank you.
Thank you, team.
I'm good. Thank you.
Thanks, Team Capgemini. All the best.
Thank you, Shiva. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
While judges mark the score, can you have the next team, please? Sutherland, Philippines. Do we have Sutherland, Philippines?
Yes, we're Dr. Shiva. Thank you.
Yes, Francis. Okay. While we start, I encourage all the teams, whoever is joined, get your team and colleagues and friends to join over here, so that it'll be a great learning possibilities during the question and answer, and also during the presentation. It'll be a great learning opportunity for us. Anyone can join. We have huge seats available here. Thank you. Once judges are ready, we'll kickstart. Francis.
I'm good, Shiva.
I'm good, Shiva.
Okay.
I'm good as well.
Okay, thank you. Good day to our esteemed judges and distinguished peers. We are thrilled to be part of this International WFM Hackathon 2021. Hope everyone is having a great time so far, and we are very much looking forward to new learnings in today's event. Before we proceed, I'd like to introduce to you our team. We are from Sutherland, Philippines. I'm Francis J. Misi. As for my teammates, we have John Ray Surigao,
Buenos días, mi amigos.
Elaine Tolentino,
Vanakkam.
Aldo Skaidik,
May buntag kaninyong tanan.
and Mila Nabua.
Namaste.
Yes, team. Now, here's Mila to present our team name and discuss how it was conceptualized. Mila?
Thank you, Jamie, and hello everyone again. So as mentioned, we are from Sutherland, Philippines, and we choose to name our team as Collab Force. So this represents a stronger collaborative essence of the team, not just limited to WFM, but also with other departments within the organization. Here you may see that we use the font style hack and a background of metrics to denote the problem statement disruption that we'll be hacking in today's presentation. Now, here is Aldous to discuss the design and meaning of our team logo. Thank you, and over to you, Aldous.
Thank you, Mila. And hello, everyone. I am here to discuss our logo and its significance. So our logo consists of 5 different elements. In the middle is the Sutherland logo. This is to pay homage to our home, Sutherland. Around it, you will see people in a huddle. This signifies each team member with their own different ideas as denoted by the different colors. These ideas are then combined to form a single cohesive concept. Encapsulating it is a light bulb. The light bulb denotes the innovative spirit of all team members. You may also notice that the light bulb is shaped like a gear with 2 colors. The 2-toned gear symbolizes the transformation of the process. The first is the color gray, which denotes a business process that is now obsolete due to the impact of security measures imposed to combat the pandemic. The other half, which is color green, signifies a fresh and exciting take on the process to keep the business optimized even in difficult times. And lastly, the yellow canvas, which is a representation of the team's optimism that this new idea will flourish and will one day be used to elevate WFM standards all over the globe. And now here's Elaine to present and discuss our chosen problem statement. Elaine?
Thanks, Aldous. Hi, everyone. For today, we've chosen the problem statement, pandemic impact on hiring and training timelines. We have decided to focus on one of the resource planning processes that impacts collaborative stakeholders, which is ramp planning. Over the past year, ramp planning has undergone major changes brought about by the pandemic based on certain COVID guidelines that were implemented by governments worldwide. In the Philippines, guidelines such as social distancing and curfew are still very much in effect. And as we undergo the second wave of strict quarantine protocol, most staff are working from home and the business model is still in the new normal. With this insight, we have identified some issues and constraints being encountered by recruitment and training teams in meeting ramp targets, which triggered for us to provide solution models to help ease the process of ramp planning. Here's January to talk about these issues and constraints raised by different stakeholders, which helped us drill down and identify the problem statement.
Thank you so much, Elaine. So on this first screen, or on the screen, you can see the first gear. We see a few issues and help items that the recruitment team recently started to ask about when a program goes on a ramp planning. So here are the questions. Technology constraints for work at home, bring BYOD or bring your own device. Where can I get the number of applicants we need? Should this program be open to work at home or brick or mortar? How can I get the number of manpower we need as fast as possible? Moving on to the second gear, we see issues and help items recently encountered and raised by our training team during the ramp. First, how many classes can we run simultaneously? Will I have enough trainers to accommodate the ramp? What would be the support cost impact? Do I have the pool of manpower with the right skill? Now, going back to you, Elaine.
Thanks, Johnny. We aim to alleviate these issues by providing a model solution fit for each department that would seamlessly provide a process followed across the board and would, in the long run, provide positive financial impact. This is why the third gear represents the WFM team, as we enable an adaptable hiring process to help out recruitment and a robust training plan initiative that would help the training team. With that said, here is our proposed recruitment solution. We are introducing the staffing database, a WFM-initiated project that collects staffing information, headcount over under for each geo, program, or vertical that can be leveraged to help recruitment identify where and when to pull resources from as needed. This idea may already be existing for some organizations, but cloud-based automation would allow access to data output seamlessly. Digitalizing the staffing database would also let us utilize the tool via any smart device with secured credentials. We also aim for the tool to develop not just a user-friendly interface, but also a robust global reporting system that would exhibit detailed staffing information. This enables us to utilize existing resources within the organization before hiring externally and help us save on hiring costs. Moving on to our proposed training solution, we also would like to introduce the training apprenticeship program, where we upscale qualified production agents to serve as training interns. In the new normal, due to the pandemic security measures, headcount per classes are kept at a bare minimum to observe social distancing. The decrease in the number of headcount we can have for each class prompts us to secure additional classes, thus having the need for additional trainers and classrooms. The training apprenticeship program aims to bridge the gap by acquiring temporary resources faster at a lower cost than having to hire and keep full-time trainers. With the additional training resources, WFM could build a hiring plan with concurrent classes that would yield headcount in production faster than the current hiring plans. This can also be a gateway to upskilling production resources into future talent build and career development. This solution model allows for less cost on training resources compared to having to hire more full-time trainers needed only for a short period of time. And also concurrent classes would allow us to plan for shifting class schedules to maximize classroom utilization should the training setup is the norm. On the next slide is a sample scenario of a ramp project targeting to get to 120 headcount. Adhering to social distancing measures with minimal headcount per class, the two tables here show training plan for two situations. The first one is an existing training plan where class counts are increased and full-time trainers are hired while spreading out training start dates. The second table shows us a training plan with concurrent classes, which is made possible by the apprenticeship program. We see here, based on the legend, that the second table enables us to have classes hit production go live at an earlier time. Next slide would also clearly show us the benefit of having the apprenticeship program. On this particular graph, training timeline with apprentices would yield target headcount by week 8, while it takes 12 weeks with an existing training plan. The 4-week variance would clearly give us opportunity for potential revenue increase since we would have the headcount earlier in billable production. Talking about potential revenue, we have Jamie to present the next slide.
Thanks, Elaine. Now for the financial impact. This financial comparison graph shows us that in these ramp plan scenarios, we show cost for training resources that are needed to build the ramp. The gray bars on the left represents cost for full-time trainers as compared to the green bars, where there's minimal cost by utilizing training apprentices as mentioned earlier. By week 11 of the simulation, we start to show potential revenue comparison as classes start to get into production and become billable manpower. We see here that with the apprenticeship model, having concurrent classes yields us higher headcount in production and potential revenue gains at an earlier time. Looking at total net revenue of the entire time span of the sample data, we see that this would yield 24% more revenue with the apprentice model than the one without. These solution models shows great potential benefit if implemented across the board. Not only would streamline planning for hiring and training ramp, but also gains on our financial standpoint. Now, we would like to open the floor for any feedback or thoughts regarding our presentation.
Thanks, team. Now judges may ask questions.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions if I may start. Thanks for a very engaging presentation, and your slides are pretty nicely done up. So thanks for that. Good work there. I just wanted to check. This was a pretty huge, significant problem after the pandemic, right? In terms of enabling people to work from home, and everything else had to change from a planning standpoint. What were some of the other observations did you see from a lead time to hire standpoint? From a didn't that have any implications from a cost standpoint? This apprenticeship program would have had some implication on the cost. So while you would have maximized your revenues, how did you mitigate that from a cost standpoint and see the benefits out of it? Especially for countries like Philippines and India, who are not very familiar with the work from home environment. All these things, and people travel from far off distances. Recruitment and hiring and all these things would have changed significantly. We all saw that. So, how did that impact your planning process from a lead time to hire, from a deployment of technology to their residences if they're not building their own devices? Can you shed some light on that as well?
From the last ramp that we've had so far within the pandemic, there are more and more cases of having to convert a particular classroom training environment into a work from home or a virtual training environment. There has been a change, although we've seen that there is also a potential impact of having many headcount in a virtual environment, because then the quality of the manpower that's put into production is not the same if when they are on a classroom environment. So the decrease in the headcount for each classes and the number of increase in the number of classes that has to be modeled into is not only for work on site process or training classroom training model, but also on a virtual model. And with the apprenticeship program, since people are working from home, there has been a drive for more people to actually step up and have the production or operations team be able to identify talents that could be utilized for now temporarily, but also an opportunity for them in the future to step up or get promoted if there is a need for that.
Thank you.
Thanks, team. This was a great presentation, by the way. Obviously, you guys have worked together a lot as a team. And I love the way that you're solving something beyond technology, right? It has a little bit of technology, training, recruiting, cap planning. So there's a lot of collaboration to make this work in the contact center, which we all know without collaboration, there's nothing we can do anyway. Explain to me what do you think would be the impact from the front end team member of the versatility required to be identified for a different program? If I understood the presentation, right, to go into a different program, to move, how do you identify if they have the right skill set for that program versus one they are? And how do you overcome the objective if they don't desire to go to that program? Did you guys discuss that at all?
There is a discussion on that. Since we have the staffing database outputs, we put that over to our recruitment team so that they would know particular program or vertical, so that the that's are almost aligned, if not actual. Also, we'll be able to provide, the report will be able to provide information of when and where people are being let go or being moved out of a specific program. And the recruitment team would have first opportunity to pull these resources, identify and assess if they would be a perfect fit for another program that is looking for the resources.
So is your database not only the output is the number of people, but also the schedules and the exact people in the schedules? Does it go multi-level or just the number of people available coming out of that business unit?
It actually would be an LOB wise, so it has data on which site this particular headcount works from, which geo. So it actually is easily they can actually easily be moved from one site to another if they are on the same geo, and as well as with the skill set that they would have.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Really appreciate your presentation.
Thank you.
Hey guys, this is Jay. My question and call out. So, one thing that I do like that you guys did interact with your training, seems like with the recruiting team to get some of these feedback, and seems like there was some portion of finance integration as well. Is this a solution that's already in play in your organization, or is this something that you're kind of in flight or in fresh development process?
We can say that it is in development process, Jay. It has been tried for a few programs. It's not across the board. And the aim of this particular solution model is for us to have this process across the organization and have more data in order for us to keep innovating the model.
So as I've asked the other teams, right, the adaptability and practicality of the solution, right? What feedback have you received from your stakeholders in your discussions?
So for that,
sorry,
go ahead, Elaine.
Right now.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
Sorry, go ahead. Okay, thank you for that. And okay, so for that, Jay, regarding the feedback that we gotten from other departments, actually, when we again, the aim, as Elaine mentioned, the main objective of this project is, not only for this information to be available for the WFM members, but also to be utilized by other departments. So the feedback that we got from, for example, for recruitment, so we do have meetings with them on a weekly basis, and based on the ramp planning that we would require, we tap on this information and look at what is available from other programs that can be internally transferred for this ramping new project. So they were happy about it. They were really glad that we were able to provide this information for them in a timely manner, and that would help, most especially recruitment, to identify internal resources that we can tap on, which would save on hiring costs, our recruitment costs. So yeah. Elaine, you wanted to add something? Sorry to cut you in earlier.
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
If
Francis,
Francis, sorry, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Okay, I'll do that. In fact, Francis and Elaine, I think great. I like the way the team collaborated from the beginning and presented it. And I think no doubt one of the best presentations till date. I had a query on the cloud database being accessible only to the recruitment team or to the operational managers also. But I think, Francis, you just explained that even all the BU leads or the operational folks do have visibility into the cloud database to see the resourcing across various groups. And then based on the ramp down or the internal resources that are existing, they can actually request for those additional resources if there is a need. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Francis.
Yeah, that's correct. So yeah, that's correct to answer your question.
Yeah, thanks. That was my query. I think you explained it earlier. Thanks for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So, Francis, Elaine, this is Vineet here. If I was to take a step back, I think you do recall. I mean, you do make a mention of 24%. I think that was the benefit that came out of your apprenticeship model, etc. That has been tested out for a pilot, or that was for an extended period that you have seen the benefit coming across.
So what we've done on the revenue analysis was we've utilized the same time duration, applying the two different scenarios of ramp planning, having utilized the training apprenticeship in the cost benefit of it, and also allowing the go live date, being able to apply multiple waves or multiple classes simultaneously. We would have more people to be in production and earning revenue at an earlier time compared to the one without the simultaneous classes. So that's that was our basis for the calculation for the 24% benefit on financial standpoint.
Sure. I mean, was that for a limited scope, or has it been measured over a period of time and period of program?
Sorry, go ahead.
Sure, Jimmy. It actually is for a period of a specific ramp only. Although we've had opportunities to see this particular model run on a current program or from the previous ramp that we have just had last quarter of 2020. And so far, we are getting this positive output from the model. And that is actually where we this problem statement and the hope to put it across the board.
Fantastic. Good. So I think fourth quarter of 2020, you measured, evaluated 24%, and you have seen sustainability coming across in let's say last 2, 3, 4 months. Have I understood that right?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. Sure. Thank you. I think. What are some of the lessons that you have learned? I'm just being greedy right now. I mean, it is out of syllabus question, but what are some of the lessons that you have learned?
That's fine. Some of the lessons is actually we actually have to plan this at an earlier time. For the last quarter ramp, we actually haven't had that much time in planning because everything was kind of shut down during the time that we were supposed to be planning for the ramp. So we had to adapt, and in terms of learning, we could take that out and actually plan ahead for the next ramp. And when we say ramp, right now we're just looking at for one particular program, but this is adaptable because not all programs have the same ramp season. So if you actually look at it at a bigger picture, this particular model would allow us to share resources for other programs that are on a different seasonal ramp, as well as if these programs adapt the apprenticeship model, they could get the savings and have or run the training that's needed for them to get to a specific ramp headcount target. faster, and we could just continue with the collaboration with the training team in enabling these interns, because as we mentioned, these are pulled from production headcount. So there is still a need for upskilling, and that particular constraint, we would have to collaborate with the training team further.
Fantastic. Thank you. And all I would say is salamat ate, salamat po.
Great one. Yeah.
Perfect.
Do we have any
good.
questions?
Any other feedback from the judges?
I think we're done with the questions, Francis.
Okay, so thank you for your feedback and for this very healthy and productive exchange. Now we would like to close with a quote from one of our greatest geniuses of our generation. This thing in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people. Steve Jobs. Visionary, pioneer, innovator.
And a firm believer of hackathons.
Yes. So thank you, Dr. Shiva, the judges, our mentor, Francis Alice, and the entire GWFM team for this opportunity for us to showcase our ideas and be part of a groundbreaking WFM innovation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job, team. Thank you.
Now, do we have Exaware team coming up while judges take some time to mark the score? Do we have
Hey, Dr. Shiva.
Yeah.
Yes, Vandana.
Great, Vandana. Team Exaware, you may start now.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shiva. Thank you, judges. So hello, everyone. I'm Vandana Yadav, and let me welcome you all on behalf of Exaware Workforce Management team. Yesterday, we had an amazing experience where everyone was brainstorming on what are the current industry challenges that we as WFM unit are facing, or in general, industry is facing. Also, we thought about situation out WFM as a community can affect the current and the new norm. So we presented our team name to you all yesterday, suggesting as craft. And our tagline says it is not just a science, it's an art. So today we are going to walk you all through a new methodology or a new approach which can be applicable to the problem statement we had. So let me just take you all through the problem statement. So it is transforming the experience of a legacy client in pre and post COVID-19 era. So what it is about, why this thought came into our mind is, as we all understand, the BPO industry goes far beyond 1990s till now. And we have seen a lot of changes in the industry through these years. So however, 2020 was a very disruptive year. We believe the biggest challenge as a workforce management team we are facing is transforming the experience of legacy client from pre to post COVID era. So we at Exaware have a very long relationship with our clients. For few of our clients, our relationship is as old as 16 years. These are the special clients. These are the clients who are more of a partners to us and not just a clients. However, since they have a legacy system with them, we realized they need our more support to help to transit into new normal. Things got disrupted in year 2020, where we were used to see 500 people on same floor, and now we cannot even see five people together. These kind of businesses where clients were used to of seeing everything available on the same shop floor for themselves. However, now they are starved for information, they are starved for visibility, and they didn't even have enough technological support to really plan for this transition. Hence, we thought of picking this as a problem statement in hand of transforming the legacy of our client in pre to post-COVID era. So let's take a few things which are actually required for this transition to actually happen. To actually happen for our client. So the first and the foremost is the digital approach. The client that we are looking at or we are talking about should be convinced to our digital approach. The second and the foremost thing is, of course, the performance visibility. It is very critical for such point to know that even from a work from home scenario, which is a new normal, client can visualize or view the floor performance at any given point in time. The third and the third most widely addressed issue was how do we change the use of these legacy platforms or CRMs, which are more of a desktop based, and how can we move them to a web based model? The reporting timeline also becomes very essential because of people not being there in presence of everyone. Hence, updates reaching the client on timely basis becomes another critical aspect of the post-COVID era. Since the world has changed, during 2020, a lot of trends, a lot of customer behavior has changed. This can only be brought to a notice of client through an analytical view and introducing analytical based platform as a value add to these clients. Showcasing them, has any of the business got impacted or had a COVID impact? And finally, how can we bring the transformation culture in these engagement with these problem statements and looking at the area of work? We felt during our ideation session that our problem statement cannot be resolved either by human or by technology. It needs a complete merger of both. So we went back to our sketchboard. We designed the entire method. We went back to our stakeholders and had a response. And we at Hexaware have a vision, and our vision is to automate everything, cloudify everything, and transform customer experiences. Parallelly, we at Hexaware WFM believe a lot in digital workforce management initiative. Our Abatus program talks a lot about the practice of digitization of workforce management. A version of these two thoughts of our vision at Hexaware and our belief at Hexaware WFM has helped us create a new methodology which can be deployed not only on a legacy client system, but for any new client as well, which will give that confidence and a vision to any business that we can take care of your traditional requirement of WFM, but we can also value add with the new requirement of new era through the workforce management. So let me introduce you all to our new methodology termed as CRAFT. It stands for C stands for capacity, planning and scheduling. R stands for RTA and reporting. A stands for automate. The second A stands for analyze. F stands for forecasting and predicting. And T stands for transform. Now, I know a lot of you would say that why the forecast is placed on the second last, and why is RTA or reporting being placed somewhere else? Since we have always seen the WFM life cycle in a different way. You may have a different view in the placement of these wings. Here, we believe we have a methodology to follow, and that's the reason we have placed it this way, the way you see it on the screen now. We believe that planning happens to be an essential part of workforce management, irrespective of the pre and post-COVID era. The next important step there is to view or report how your planning had been executed through the RTA practice and the reporting practice. We at Hexaware WFM have been practicing automation and reporting digitization even pre-COVID era. So we were lucky enough that way that we were thinking beyond time, and under our reporting bot program, we would want to continue or automate as much as possible to move out manual dependency. Mind you, this also takes care of the BCP planning, which happens to be the critical most aspect of COVID-19. Till now, we experienced or implemented the traditional practice of workforce management. However, our problem statement between the transitioning of pre and post COVID actually starts now. It is very important to understand, has the customer needed a change in the pre or post COVID era? Has any of your business rate changed during the pre or post COVID era? And your clients will have a lot of value add if you look at it through an analytical platform. Hence the introduction of analysis. It may be possible that not all traits have changed, not all KPIs must have been affected. And if you want to, and if we would want to work or focus on any one of the KPIs, we would use our intelligent forecasting methodology to understand basis our current experience, where does a particular metric go and stand at from a timeline standpoint. We have also planned to extend this prediction to ops lever as well, the operational levers. In case if we find that a tool or a software or any automation which broadly is called as transformation helps arrest that, we would move to a transformation stage. What will this do is this will enable partner to transit from a very traditional practice into a digital practice. Of course, the question would be, do we have any arsenal with us to deploy this? Answer is yes. As mentioned before, we at Hexaware were practicing digital workforce management in pre and post COVID era as well. And we would like to share with you a few tools and the methodologies used in the craft, which will help us deploy the change in any of the business. We at Hexaware WFM are capable of these offerings under the craft methodology, which we think is a perfect mixture of a robust as well as flexible offering. We may have clients who would want to deploy the entire methodology as a solution so that they get the best benefit out of the engagement. However, we also understand that some clients only would need a bits and pieces of it, and hence we set the flexibility of this methodology, which brings in that flavor wherein you could only deploy the required automation or transformation only with the solution we are, and with the solution we are very confident that from a problem statement, how a client or how a legacy client can be transited from a pre and a post-COVID era and gets an answer. This methodology is and can be deployed to any part of the world from anywhere in the world, especially from a work from home scenario. This methodology is scalable, it is replicable. One may replace some subsection of this methodology. For example, instead of Zoho or a Tableau, one may come with a different tool. Similarly, likewise, if we are saying we are using RStudio for a forecasting methodology, people from workforce community can think of some other tool, which is perfectly fine, because we don't want to restrict the technology. We want to offer the thought process here. Varieties will always bring in more colors into it. However, from a framework standpoint, we think it is an irreplaceable framework. You can use or deploy your own technology in the subsection, but craft as an overall methodology happens to be a complete end-to-end solution from a new WFM we are looking at. So this was a presentation from our end about our methodology. We are open for any questions and a feedback.
Now, judges.
So what? Thank you, Kim. I appreciate the presentation. So what is so this is a methodology on top of our standard WFM methodology, but how do you bring this? Because as a WFM stakeholder, professional, I'm looking at it and saying, that's a lot. So it's a lot for a client, and a lot of these clients come in with little or no experience in contact center, right? Obviously, there's lots of mature clients out there, but more and more, there are new technology clients that walk in the door and they don't know what they don't know. So how would you break this methodology down to me in a simple of, well, I don't know what I need. You're the WFM professional. Tell me. How do you take this into simplicity for our clients?
Correct. Melissa noted a question. So let's say if the client has come and is talking about the current process, we understand how the system is, and if in case we know that it is a reporting which is limited, which has a limited exposure for now, so we can add an analytical view. In case if we understand the platform which is helping us get the reporting out is not up to mark, we can fix it by adding another reporting based platform which can probably be stitched with their current ACD. So it is not a complete ACD that we will be tailoring it with. However, something which we can help us get the exposure of the performance and can be at the same time connected with our analytical reporting platform and give a real-time visibility of the performance, which as of now we see is a challenge where people are not getting the real-time view, is not getting to see the performance of the business. So that's one of the examples.
Hey, this is Jay. My question is again repeating the same thing, right? So the practicality and adaptability of the solution, is this something that you guys developed through going through the hackathon, or is this pre-developed or deployed already with your clients?
So it was available in a different pocket. It wasn't available as a complete offering. However, with this platform of hackathon, we when we really thought about multiple challenges, we clubbed this concept and formed a methodology so that we can go back to our client as a single offering and thereby encouraging the transformation that we can bring in by connecting all these sections, starting from a traditional workforce management to a digital workforce management and leading to a transform and creating a transformational experience for our customers.
So, hi, I would just like to add something here. This is Swapnil from Hexaware, and I'm going back to Melissa's question. So, Melissa, this methodology is more about the commitment that we would want to showcase to our clients, right? Because as you said, there are a lot of clients who come and say that, hey, you are the expert, and I don't know what I want. You guys go ahead and deploy what's best, right? However, as a partner, how do you help measure yourself along with the client, saying that, hey, I know that you didn't know many things in WFM, but this is what is best available and suitable. I'm making a commitment to you, saying that I will deploy this methodology, and at the end of the journey, I'll go back and say that these are the things I've deployed. So it's more of a commitment for clients who don't know or are not exposed to a lot of things in WFM. For clients who are very strong on technology, of course, we, as Vandana said, right, we are not promoting any particular technology or tools here. But what we will tell them is, hey, if you have 5 tools, we are in the best position to say where to place them and where to use them, right? Which will get us the best results from an overall WFM engagement. So that's what Craft as a methodology will promote or support.
And one more question. So how do you look at the integrations to apply the methodology or kind of the overall governance with any of your customers, right? There is a lot of tools integration. Some of them may be manual, some of them through APIs or whatever points of integration you include into this. The output and input, all that resides on this solution, or does this reside with the client?
So again, this is not a tool, right? Or this is not a platform. This is a thought process. This is a commitment, or this is a methodology, right? At various pockets or various stages of this journey or craft, you might have solutions with you lying on your network, or you might have solutions with the client partner on their network, right? Again, where to place these tools and how to use them is something which I want to go back to the clients and say, hey, you have shown the trust on us. We show it back to you by deploying this methodology the way it should be done. Because while you have the tools, we have the thought process of utilizing them to the best. It's not a restriction of which network, which tool, where is it placed. It's about just the process to follow one after the other, which can get you the results from today till transformation.
So it's more of a consultative problem solving and engagement.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Melissa,
so
you were probably on mute. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, so that's what I would challenge this group for is if I'm a client, tell me the outcome that this solution is going to deploy. You call that different pillars, but from a client point of view, what outcome are you solving for me by deploying all 6 of these pillars, so the whole craft methodology? What's the outcome for the client?
So actually, it's about so we have, as Vandana mentioned, right, we have a lot of partners with us who are in a relationship with us for the last 16, 17 years, right? Now, work from home is like a completely new thing for them, right? We have never practiced such a large extent of work from home earlier. How do you kind of give them the confidence that, hey, while we were in office and you trusted us so much, irrespective of where you are, we will still continue delivering the same at the same levels, right? And that's what it brings. So a lot of clients probably have been using the same tools, the same technology for all these years because there was no disruption that happened. But 2020 was a year where everyone woke up and said, hey, where are we today? Do we have all those materials to kind of move ahead and still stay in the market, right? So we don't want our partners to fall off because they don't have the technology with them. We are trying to empower and enable them to kind of transit from the pre-COVID era into the post-COVID era with all the intelligence that we have and all the experience that we have, right? But of course, as you said, because there are so many things to take care of, how do you go back to your customer and tell them in one word, I am taking care of you? That one word for us is craft, right? And I think we have the capability, the science, and the art to deploy craft to all our customers. May it be a 10 FTE partner or a 1,000 FTE partner, our commitment towards them remains craft.
I like that. Oh, thank you. That makes it clear. It's like the, a global excellence model for WFM. Like it's our commitment overall. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Presentation.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Ranga here. Just as Swapnil, as you explained, this seems to be more of a methodology of a digital transformation of customers spread over a multi-million or a multi-year kind of a methodology is what I can understand. So, and since it's been more than a year and you have said that this has already been in progress, have you had any real luck with some of your customers? Are there any tangible numbers you've been able to show it to them saying that, yes, this is the amount of improvement in productivity or in probably in revenue that you've been able to do it to them at the end of maybe in the last 2 quarters or something like that?
Absolutely. So we were, and I'll use this word specifically, we were lucky enough to get into a very new engagement last year in the month of May 2020. This was for our center in Australia, where we had one of our retail partners just getting onboarded. Now, this partner was a perfect example of a legacy client, right? Not because they were with us for that time, but they were just not exposed to technology the way it should be today, right? Right from a simple thing like a reporting portal, okay? All the reports were on Google Documents spread across various folders. And when they came on board, the first thing that we told them was, hey, we understand you're at home right now. We understand there are connectivity issues. Maybe Google Documents are all over the place. The first thing that we'll do for you under our Abatis digital WFM practice is that we will create a reporting portal for you. We'll put everything that you require to monitor, govern your business onto that portal, right? From service levels, volumes, attendance, shrinkage, you talk about anything that's on the portal, right? That kind of opened up their mind saying that, hey, this is quite possible. And then they came back to Xavier and said, what's more that we can do? So we said, fine, there are 10 people who are handling your reports right now. We have reporting bots with us under our Batis program. Let's deploy them, right? So that those 10 people could actually start looking at other aspects of your business. This was not to save manpower by any ways, okay? This was just to bring in more efficiency. And the client was so much in love with this thought process of digital WFM that they are encouraging us more and more to kind of get as much as things on that portal. So their entire community of our client now relies on this reporting portal wherever they are to kind of keep themselves updated on information, which was so difficult for them. We also realized that there was just one Spock from their end who was talking to multiple people and kind of filling up their requests on data. Moving that to a platform which was easily accessible for everyone made it so simple for him as well to kind of say that, hey, you know what, just click there and you will see this information out there. So, and as we progressed, we got into the forecasting methodology. We created a capacity planning methodology for them. We deployed RTA. So overall, we helped them transit from a zero technology kind of a background to a complete digital experience that we are now giving them. That was actually the trigger of this thought process. Luckily, the hackathon made us think of a name now.
Okay, just one more question. See, you mentioned forecast as the last before transform, but typically after you're forecasted, you would look at the reports that are coming out, do the analysis based on it, and then try to automate and improve on that, and then you move into a transform phase. So still, forecast just before transform strikes as a little odd to me, versus maybe I think report, analyze, and automate should be post that actually, and then which actually lead into a transformation. Okay,
absolutely.
So that's my thought.
Absolutely, and we are in sync, right? So as we said, this is our thought process. There is nothing right, wrong in anyone's view out here, and we understand that traditionally forecasting always has been, the first step towards what you want to do. But we have a different view. If you remember, before forecast, the step before that was analyze, right? What we are trying to do is use analytical platforms not only for volume forecasting, but use them for KPIs like quality, CSAT, NPS scores, and stuff. You might realize that there is one area of your operations which is not going to look great in the next 6 months, right? Now, how do you know that? On an analytical tool, it will give you a complete view. Our operations team might say that, hey, you know what, AHT has been a constant problem. Then what we do is we pick up AHT as a lever for that particular process, put it into our forecasting engines or tools that we have, right? And then analyze that what are the levers affecting the predicted performance of an AHT. So for example, analysis says that AHT has been a problem. You use that data and try and forecast 6 months where your AHT is going to land up at, what are the reasons affecting it. And what happens is you find that the CRM that you are currently using is an older one, right? Vis-a-vis, if you move to a web-based CRM, it will save 30 seconds on your AHT on each call. Now, moving from a desktop-based CRM to a web-based CRM is nothing else but transformation. So the forecasting methodology there helps you identify the areas of scope for transformation, and hence it is placed there from our view, actually.
Okay, understood.
And also, sorry, just to add, it does not mean that we are disrupting the traditional, methodology of WFM. That anyways continues, right? This is more of how 2021 should be looking like.
So,
okay, thank you.
Swapnil, Vandana, this is Vineet here.
Hi, Vineet.
Hey.
Hi, Vineet.
Other than the nomenclature or acronym of the methodology to craft, to name it as craft, what else was brainstormed in the hackathon that you were able to solve for?
Actually, when we started discussing about things, about problem statements, right? We of course came across problem statements of productivity at work from home, shrinkage, real-time shrinkage tracking at work from home, flexible schedule work from home. So all these problem statements, of course, came to our mind as well. But what we thought is these are more problem statements which everyone is facing for the last 1 year, and they are more internal, right? We wanted to see how are our customers feeling at this point of time, right? While we as a partner, we have a lot of problem statements at our end. We wanted to pick up a problem statement which helps us as well as the customer on the entire journey of WFM. So that's the reason we actually promoted this question, this problem statement.
Okay, sure. And what were some? And I'm just curious to understand the process that was followed by the team. What were some of the exchanges that had happened with the mentor, or was there an exchange of ideas and practices amongst the community?
So I think Vandana, you should
Yes.
take that question because I should not take that question actually.
Yes. So Vineet, yes, we did exchange our thought behind why. So we actually were thinking of different terminology before. We did not conclude with what name should we really take for us, because we were also thinking of BHAG as one of the nomenclature for our team. However, we then concluded the methods that we are already using was rearranged, and we understood this rearrangement is leading to a craft, because craft is an art, and art is something that we are actually we are actually drawing for our customer to change their experience. So which is where the change of thought process happened. Prashant Veed is supporting us, he is our mentor. And he even thought of craft being the rightest term for our problem statement. And that's how we proceeded.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
also
Thank
wanted
you.
people to, we also wanted everyone to remember us with just one word. I mean, the problem statement could be then forgotten over a period of time, and we may have lots of words. But I'm sure everyone going back today will remember the word craft and relate to it. So I think that also brought up the word as such. Luckily, we were doing everything that craft can accommodate as such. But yeah, we just wanted everyone to remember us.
And there is one more thing we actually thought last night is 15th April is the World Art Day, and we came up with this terminology as craft, and we were just laughing around that. Okay, what have we invented for us? Great.
Sure. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Any more questions for us?
I'm good. Congratulations on the nomenclature.
Thank you. Thank you, Vinny.
For now, we had only 4 teams who have participated, and we have another batch who was getting ready after 2 hours from now. I mean, after 1 hour, 1.5 hours from now. I really appreciate Melissa's and Jay's time for your early morning slots. I know that you have very big and very hectic schedules for the day.
It was absolutely my pleasure. I appreciate being able to sit with the community and look at these ideas and the time for all these teams to present. And I got to, as I'm watching the sun come up and you guys are presenting it, it just really inspires me to know that we have a whole world of WFM professionals that are constantly innovating, thinking of new, fresh ways to do things. And as our industry changes, so must we as professionals. So I think about how far in the last 10 and 20 years we've come, and this inspires me that we're still moving forward. So I appreciate everyone's time and appreciate being included as a judge.
Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you, team. Thank you so very much.
Thank you all teams. Wishing you the best.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Satya. And, thanks, Ranga, for being there. A team is still, and when I asked the team that they want to take some more time, they're all there in the breakout room. Some more time, they're up for the final slides, and they're talking to the mentors. I see a lot of traction and a lot of ideations that they are exchanging and huge learning so far with the 4 teams presentation. It's really very good. I'm so excited to listen to the rest of the teams who are still working on it.